So, Ricky, thank you very much for joining
Thank
us
you for inviting
this
me.
afternoon. We'd like to ask you a few questions about the work you've been doing in the Philippines, but also how you see the future of energy and, of course, the engagement with the youth. Perhaps you could start off with just a couple of points, a couple of seconds on the work that you actually do for TeaM Energy Foundation.
TeaM Energy, well, our mother company is TeaM Energy Corporation, or one of the biggest power generation companies in the country. TeaM Energy Foundation is the social development arm of TeaM Energy Corporation, and one of our biggest program is rural electrification. So we've electrified around 500,000 households nationwide, many of them through solar power, solar home systems.
Okay, and we were just talking about the solar home systems. So perhaps you can just give us some insights to what has changed on the solar home system with time.
Yeah, we've been implementing this for like 14 years now. And initially when we started implementing it, everything was just about lighting. So we have 50-watt peak systems. These are big systems. But you go into a 5 by 4 foot box of a house, and you have 4 lights. It's too bright. So and here in the Philippines, even the poor, they would like to have access for other implementation means to implement using also renewable energy and solar power. Like for example, charging of cell phones. They also need to keep them up in information. They need a radio. So as time went by, the watt peak system became a bit lower, like 30-watt peak. But now they have charging stations for different kinds of cell phones, and they even have a built-in radio, AM/FM radio. So wherever they are, they can be connected to the world.
Well, that's great to learn about. So I understand that recently, with the change of the administration in the Philippines, clean energy is being much more widely discussed. What do you think is the status of clean energy in the Philippines today, and how do you think we should be moving forward to further exemplify the benefits?
Well, I think there's a law that was passed. Like our company, we have coal-fired power plants, and there was a law that was passed, the Renewable Energy Bill, and that requires these companies to source at least 10% of their power source from renewable energy 6 years after the bill was passed. I think we're moving towards our 4th year, and for example, in our case, we're already looking into mini hydro systems up north. So I guess if they will just implement strictly the Renewable Energy Bill, then that will probably move many companies like coal-fired power plant to look into more cleaner technologies of implementing fossil fuel-based power generation systems, and little by little shifting into renewable energy, because even the SDG says that you have to look into advancing technologies in in the utilization of fossil fuel as a power generation agent. So that's what we're trying to do right now. So there's an organization composed of different power generation companies into coal, and we're actually discussing among ourselves how can we get the ball rolling.
Okay. And what's the current status in the Philippines of renewable versus non-renewable?
I think it's still a bit tilting towards coal.
Okay.
Although we have many power generation companies already into geothermal and hydro, but it's little by not little. It's big steps. We're already moving towards renewable energy. Like Alternergy, a company is setting up a wind farm very nearby, 2 hours away from Manila, in the province of Rizal, and many solar farms are actually starting to pop up. And as a matter of fact, those companies who are trying to register for a piece of the business with the Department of Energy have to line up. It's already filled up. So I guess it's picking up.
Okay. And so now with this post-2015 development agenda and the sustainable development goals for water and energy, do you think a cross-sector collaboration among water and energy organizations is possible with these cross-collaborations that we can achieve the sustainable development goals?
I think, yeah, there has to be a collaboration, because hydro, especially in the Philippines, will play a major, we have lots of water. Sometimes it pours into the city and we have floods. But even if you go into the countryside, the irrigation systems, for example, are in many areas, are very well maintained. And the only thing they do with irrigation is to provide irrigation for the farms and water for the community. But not too much is being done to use these systems as a source of power. So you can actually combine it. Like I've observed, for example, in Cambodia, there are actually household micro hydro systems that that can be crudely made by do-it-yourself type of of activity by anyone in the household. Just you give them the proper instruction, the proper materials, and they can electrify, or they can at least put in lights into the house. So we can expand this, make this a bit bigger into a micro hydro system. So you can combine both you can expand the utilization of water in a particular area to include not only irrigation and water for the community, but also as a source of electricity.
Okay. And then how is TeaM Energy trying to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goals?
Oh yeah, well, that's actually we were trying to map ourselves, where are we in these goals, and I think out of the 17, we're into like 13 of them. You know? So anything from providing a good employment opportunities for a lot of potential talents. We also help make sure that the communities where we work in is not impacted negatively by our business, by ensuring that a lot of controls are in place. And of course, we also have to have our share in corporate social responsibility, which is a very, very big activity in the company. As a matter of fact, it's not an incremental activity, it's already part of our business. So I mean, that's how we...
Right. And then importantly, how can we involve our youth, the future?
Well, the youth is very important. I mean, the future is going to rely on them. Like, we have a big investment, for example, in a center that we put up with the Asian Institute of Management. And it's also, we call it the Future Bridging Leadership Program, wherein we choose the youth from different sectors of society, most of them facing a lot of social problems like teenage pregnancy, even young children soldiers, something like that. So we bring them into one table, we mentor them using a certain framework called the Bridging Leadership. And because we feel that, you know, investing in the future, in the youth, definitely you're investing in the future. And we see the youth as future employees also of our company. So we are also looking into, for example, investing in technical education, because that's going to be a requirement, especially as we move into the renewable energy industry in the next probably 2 decades. So that's how we're doing it. We make sure that our programs are there's also youth involvement, even when it comes to employment, when it comes to exposing them, the students. We accept a lot of student trainees, and we invest in a lot of youth development programs. Like this one, in the Asian Youth Forum, we've invited a certain number of youth participants into our far-flung communities, and frankly, I thought they wouldn't survive it, but they did actually very, very well. There was no electricity. There was limited water, and they lived with households that are made of light material. So they had a great impact to the community. It actually sort of gave a little hope for them, and so it makes your investment worthwhile.
Thank you very much, Ricky, for sharing your insights and
inviting
experiences,
Sure.
and importantly for contributing to this youth event.
Yeah, thank you
very much.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Thank you.